So, who are you?
My name is Isa. I am a mystic. I'm a mother. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a lover. I'm an animist. I'm a priestess.
Nice to meet you. And where are you from?
I am from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia.
So how long have you been working with Aliya?
I met Aliya, I guess almost a couple of years ago now, it feels like.
No,
Has it only been a year?
less than a year.
No.
October or November.
Is that all it's been? No, okay, the first time I met you at the Song Circle? God, it feels like longer. When we connected, I had to kind of peel away the levels of resistance and excuses. Why I wasn't ready to do the work, why I didn't have time to do the work. You know, I had to finish, the busy season with my business, and COVID allowed lots of time and space. So I was just grateful to capitalize by working with you.
Yeah. So how long did the work itself last?
I think it was about 3 to 4 months in total, every single week. There was space in between, but there was also, it was a consistent pace.
So how was the process?
Holy, the way it started, oh my God, in the most unconventional way. So I didn't really know what to expect with working with you. Like what would it actually look like? And I was really pleasantly, I'm not gonna say surprised, almost shocked at your process, because it was so bang on and it was so effective. So I remember at the start, it's almost like you were getting to know me intuitively rather than getting to know me through my story. So yeah, you gave me an opportunity to tell you my story, but that's not the way that you got to know me. You got to know me and you got to see the places that needed assistance or clarity intuitively. And you bypassed my narrative and just went right to the top, and everything kind of fell into place underneath it. So once we kind of identified that, it was, I got to understand what was serving me, what wasn't, what was my story and what wasn't. What was my actual truth? What was my purpose? So it was almost like you kept unraveling an onion and you kept peeling back layers. And then we'd kind of look and be like, oh shit, like look at what's underneath here. And then I would go and I would massage and integrate that piece into myself. And then the next week it would be something completely different. But I went deeper with you quicker than I think with any other practitioner. So the way that you do it is very unique and very, very effective. I'm not saying this to be nice. I'm not saying this because you're a great person. I'm not saying this because you've helped me. I've been in the personal development game for over 20 years. I'm a professional counselor myself. I've spent over $100,000 on personal development, on inner work, soul development, spiritual development. I've done all of that. So what you do is so unique. I would recommend you to anybody that you've shown up on their screen, or your voice or your name has come across their social media or in a conversation. Like that is the sign to work with you, right? And when I've spoken to friends about you, this is what I say to them. I'm like, I'm a BC girl, Vancouver, BC, and there's a lot of spiritual, new age counselors, coaches, spiritual, yoginis. I mean, you got it all here. One of everything. There's shamans, there's witches. We have it all. It's almost like you're not from here. And because you're not from here, you are bringing such a unique view of spirituality to the table that doesn't exist here on the West Coast. I've never seen it. I just haven't. And even with my international teachers, I've never seen it. And your approach to inner work is the most pointed. There's no fucking around. There's no bullshit. You gave me the training wheels. You gave me the curriculum. You gave me the knowledge base. And that was up to me to ride the bike, you know? So then it was just supporting me on riding that bike and making sure I don't fall on my face and, you know, just being there to help me integrate further. So that's kind of how I would describe what it was like working with you. It was a balance between remembering who I am, and that's not like, remembering who I am as a child or remembering who I was before a trauma or before conditioning or whatever. It's almost like you showed me how to remember what my soul's path is so I can start living that way rather than living as a human aspect of me. I'm more living my life driven by my soul aspect versus my human aspect, if that makes sense. Figuring out what I need to support myself in that, you know, how to not enable myself, how to not restrict myself, and how to actually live in complete alignment. And I find in Western medicine and, you know, in the New Age spiritual community, it's all about one blanket thing that works for everyone. And that's not the case. You know, for me, there was very specific things that were important in order for me to align with myself. And, you know, it might not be, you know, yoga, or it might not be, you know, breath work or something that's very mainstream. You actually help me gear my path to what is unique for me. The other piece to that is you also gave me permission to walk the path I was afraid to walk.
You gave yourself permission. I didn't.
Well, sure, but at least, like, you gave me the awareness of it, and then you just wait for me to walk it and, you know, check in and be like, so what's that like? And what are you learning from that? And how does that feel? And even getting me in touch with my ancestral roots in a way that I don't know if I would have been able to do it in a way that I have now with your assistance, you know? And it's just, you help me learn how to follow my own trail, right? And not follow the collectives, not follow societies, not follow my community's trail, but my own.
And I'm so grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember we had a journey inside when you met your inner version in white?
Mm-hmm.
How was that journey about?
Oh my God, the hypnose that you would do, like, brought me into, I can't.
Is it the hypnose?
It feels like hypno. Absolutely. You know, like the way that you just start, it almost like the way that I've worked with clinical hypnotherapists is very similar to how I feel when I work with you. Mm-hmm. When we go into the inner world and into our inner landscape and we ponder around, my subconscious is then the one that's guiding. Mm-hmm. You know, my higher self is the one driving. And that only happens when you're in that space of safety and ability to do so. So there's several times where I met different aspects, energies, medicine women, archetypes in our work. But when I remember meeting the woman in white, it was like the perfect ideal of where I would strive to be. It's me reaching my fullest purpose and potential in this lifetime. And it's almost like you can't unsee it. Once you see it, once you feel it, you can't undo that. So it's almost like your trajectory is automatically going to magnetize and gravitate towards that.
Cannot escape it.
Yeah, of course you can't. Yeah. So it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. How about when we are going to this somatic internal journey, when I'm guiding you, you were able to channel certain message, and they were coming as text, like word. Mm-hmm. How did that feel?
A little weird at the beginning, because it's almost like it's like using a Ouija board, where they're giving you words, and then, you know, then bringing those words, distilling them further, and all of a sudden you've got this message that you can't even make up. You know, it's like it's the magic token that you need to know or need to hear. And once you hear it, it makes sense. They were foreign words, but they were ours. You know, they were foreign and they were English, or they were Polish, or, you know, one of the languages that one of us spoke. Just come to you out of, you don't even know where, is interesting.
Yeah, by the way, where do you feel it's coming?
I'm not new to this type of work. So when I have the capacity to maneuver between what I believe to be my own higher self, to other, higher consciousness, whether it's, my guides. Other times, it could be something as, an entity or someone who's passed. But what I feel when I work with you, it feels like it's coming clean. So just even as I'm speaking right now, I get a tube of light going up, so that my understanding of a tube of light overhead is source, is pure light.
All right. So during the work with me, what did you discover in terms of your body? What is your body actually now? And your relationship?
Oh, my body is my temple, sister. Yeah. So when we met, my body was in a lot of disarray. I'd been bleeding at that point for well over a year, consistently. Adenomyosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome. There was no cycle. I was having no cycles because I was just bleeding all the time. That's done. You helped me with that too. I don't bleed when I'm not supposed to anymore. I bleed like a healthy woman would. And I had a lot of cervical inflammation, which affected my intimacy. Because any time, that I was penetrated, I would bleed because of the inflammation around my cervix. All gone.
And how is your romantic life now?
I'm making up for lost time, that's for sure. Yeah, like I said to you earlier, that it's like I've had more sex in the last month than I have in the last year. So my sexual energy is completely engaged. My body is healthy to welcome, sacred sexuality. Yeah, and it's even evolved into new places of openness and freedom. So super, super grateful.
What's happening with your breath? Did anything change?
Well, at the beginning, you messed up my breath, I felt, because you made me aware of how I wasn't breathing. So it's almost like ignorance was bliss. Mm-hmm. I was blissfully ignorant to the fact that I wasn't breathing well. That I was out of breath, mm-hmm. that I was doing too much too quickly, and I was not taking time to breathe. So it's interesting. I was speaking to one of my mentors and friends about this very fact, and she asked me, she's like, well, did you start breathing badly after you met Aliya? Or did you just have the awareness that you're breathing badly and now you notice that you're breathing badly? And it's the second one. I think I've always breathed badly. And it's still an active process for me to be cognizant of whether I'm breathing enough, mm-hmm. whether I'm brushing through, when I'm cooking, am I speaking while I'm cooking? Am I speaking while I'm eating? Am I rushing to communicate something? And these all affect my inner landscape because without breath, it completely keeps me off balance.
Now, what or if anything adapted in your relationship around you?
Everything changed. Oh my God. It's almost like I had to be ready to do this deep dive with you. And once my body knew that I was ready, it was like, let's just go all in and just shake everything up that doesn't serve. People that were not serving me in my life and were not healthy for me just fell off. I became more deliberate and more selective on where I spend my energy. And I realized in that process how much I was leaking my energy, how much I was just expelling it, in order to please people, or in order to keep the peace, or in order to be a good friend or a good daughter or a good mother. And oh my God, even my relationship with my kids changed. I didn't realize how much I was controlling, and the way it changed, I guess, my God, you showed me I can leave the control behind. You taught me that I don't have to be everywhere at once. You taught me that I am strongest when I'm balanced. And that fundamentally changed the core around me, because I can no longer be everything for everybody. I have to be everything for myself first. And if I am taking care of myself, then I'm a good mother. If I take care of myself, I'm a good partner.
Did anything got impacted in your business, or like the way you approach your business?
Yeah, so my the last fiscal year was really, really, abundant. However, it was very, very stressful and very taxing on my mental, emotional, and physical state. So after that season is when I started to work with you, and what I realized is that I physically, emotionally, mentally cannot do that again. So it's helped me restructure. I actually brought on 3 partners into my businesses so that I don't carry all of the weight. Again, just balance in my businesses. Yeah, thank you for this chat, because I'm actually realizing right now how much everything has come into more balance. Yeah, you're definitely a PhD program for evolution and enlightenment, I'll tell you that.
Well, I want to thank you for showing up, because I work with different people, and it's always an interest and adventure and pleasure to work with a woman who is so diverse. Like, she's businesswoman, she's priestess, and she's into stones and healing and herbs and family and everything. So it was really amazing. It feels like we're saying goodbye.
No. Wait. There's going to be another step of evolution here coming. But it's interesting, because I also don't want to feel like I need you to keep me accountable to continue this evolution, right?
Exactly. That's what I always told you. You need to just remember your own gear and use it. You don't need anyone.
Yeah. The interesting, so what just dropped in too is that I've become more sure of my very self. Not sure of my ego, not sure of power, but just sure of my deep self.
The light.
Yes. I am more sure of my light. You can quote me on that. Yeah.
I'm gonna quote you.
Yeah, I'm more sure of my light. And that is, unless you experience that piece, you can't even explain that to someone. You can't explain what it feels like to be confirmed in your own light and sure of it and trust it. Oh my God, I trust my own light.
So the darkness was the light untrusted. And when you trusted it, you saw that the darkness is a light.
I also wanted to say out loud, though, is that that's one key point that was very, very useful that you taught me. I spent a lot of years doing shadow work, digging up the past, digging up the traumas, clearing things that don't feel good in my body and things that haunt me and all of this. And although I do find it useful and it has its time and place, that part of my journey was over. I've done enough years of that. And what was really beautiful about working with you is that you don't focus on the shadow. You focus on the light and you empower the light to expand. And I've applied that concept to other areas of my life, in business, in my own private practice, with family, and with all interactions. And even it's that piece, that acknowledgement of how powerful focusing on the light is, has helped me finalize my shadow work. Also a really important part of your work is that piece. God, there was so much. I feel like we worked for like 2 years together.
Maybe we worked so many lives.
I know, it was like 2 years worth of work in like 4 months. So now I figured out how to ride this bike. There's no training wheels on it anymore, but now I'm actually going on the road.
Exactly.
And I'm happy and hopeful that you will be there if I hit a bump.
God knows where I will be.
I'll hunt you down wherever you land on this beautiful planet we're on.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
For your sharing.
Yeah, very welcome. I feel like I want to add a piece to this. What would I tell someone who is unsure if they want to work with you? They're on the fence. If there is any piece of you that is curious or eager, whether it's intuitively, logically, or otherwise, if there's that little fire of curiosity to work with Aliya, that means that's the universe showing you that she's the one that's here to help you on your next steps. And I want to encourage those that have that piece of curiosity to nurture it like a little fire. Because as long as you pay attention to it, as long as you acknowledge that that curiosity is there, eventually you will work with her. Like, you'll work with Aliya. And it will change your life. Like, it changed my life. And I just wish that all of our brothers and sisters, if they see that light in working with you, I hope all of them pay attention to it. Because that's not anything other than the Creator speaking through, right? And if you're the type of person that's ready to get to the place of taking it or leave it, the fork in the road, then I'd recommend you. If you want coddling, if you wanted to be pet and enabled in your bullshit, I wouldn't work with you. You'd smash their shit into pieces. Right? You have to be ready to work with you. But if they're ready, yeah, they're in for a ride. That's all.
Okay.